Dawn Richard was on the television show Making the Band in the early 2000s, where thousands and thousands of people tried out to be on the show. And she alleges that during the show Making the Band, that she and the others were subjected to horrendous conditions. They weren't allowed to eat. They weren't allowed to sleep. They were locked in places and not allowed to leave. They were subjected to all kinds of gender comments, calling them names, insulting them. She alleges that she was groped and grabbed by Sean Combs, that she witnessed him physically assaulting other women, that he restrained her, locked her into cars and other places, falsely imprisoned her. And it was just a really terrifying experience for her. She says that when she tried to speak out on behalf of other women who he was abusing in her presence, she was threatened. And she felt very, very fearful. And she wanted to put her real name on the case. People know her. She has over 1 million social media followers. She has a significant fan base. And she wanted to put her name on it. She thought it was very brave that Cassie Ventura had done that. And she wanted to follow that inspiration. There's no doubt in my mind that Sean Combs felt that he was above the law for many, many years. There was an early case against him, a criminal case, where he was acquitted. And I think that made him feel emboldened and empowered, that he could get away with anything. I know that some of the people who worked for him have said that made them terrified, that the law was just not going to come for him. There was not going to be any accountability. I think we might see more criminal charges to come. Dawn has cooperated with the Department of Justice. She's sat and answered questions. I assume other people probably have as well. So that could very well be forthcoming. I think there will be more civil suits as well. People have more control over a civil suit. I have no doubt that there are hundreds more people who have these types of allegations of sexual assault, physical violence, threats, sex trafficking against Sean Combs and people associated with him, and that many are just too afraid to come forward, or that they signed NDAs and they think they have no rights. Those who knew and were complicit and were making money off of this and knew that Dawn and others were being victimized. I think we're in a new era now where we don't just want to hold the primary perpetrator accountable. We want to hold accountable anybody who's complicit, because to victimize people on this scale, where we're probably talking about hundreds of people, you can't do that alone. You have to have helpers, people who actually saw incidents of abuse or heard reports of incidents of abuse and turned a blind eye to it and continued funding these parties and these events where things happened. They should be held accountable, and we intend to do that in our case. Where we start is, yes, of course, with Sean Combs. He is the top of the pyramid. He was the one orchestrating everything. But those who helped him also need to be brought to justice. The civil cases are proceeding right alongside the criminal case. Sean Combs' team has not asked for a stay, which would essentially freeze the civil cases. And certainly we're not asking for that. We want to charge ahead, and we are charging ahead. Right now, we are aggressively moving ahead with our cases. I look forward to taking Sean Combs' deposition in prison, and then we will move the case forward, hopefully, to trial. For one thing, we know where he is. He can't say he's unavailable and out of town, and I've been to prisons many times in many cases. That is fine with me. I am very comfortable going and taking a deposition there. We don't have a date yet. I would expect it to be in the next 3 to 6 months. I would expect his side to fight it for a while, but eventually we are entitled to it. Every party to a case, he's a party to the case, has to sit for a deposition. And the rules apply to Sean Combs. Apparently he's lived his whole life thinking that they don't, but they do, and he's going to find that out in the course of our case.
Well, we put Lisa Bloom's claims to Sean Combs via his lawyers, particularly with regards to the Dawn Richard case. And we got a statement back from Erica Wolf, who is representing him, who said, Mr. Combs is shocked and disappointed by this lawsuit. In an attempt to rewrite history, Dawn Richard has now manufactured a series of false claims, all in the hopes of trying to get a payday, conveniently timed to coincide with her album release and press tour. It's unfortunate that Miss Richard has cast their 20-year friendship aside tried to try and get money from him. But Mr. Combs is confidently standing on truth and looks forward to proving that in court. Look, these civil cases are continuing at a pace, but as is the criminal case as well. He is due, his representatives are due in court tomorrow for another pre-trial hearing with regards to the criminal case, with a view, it's thought, to that criminal case coming to trial, it's thought, in May.